Valentine's Day special for Moving On TV. I've got a very special person with us here. Do you wear your heart on your sleeve in an app?
My heart on my sleeve? That's the sleeve, yes. Okay, that's the heart.
There's your heart on your sleeve.
I get the hint now.
Well, you're a very compassionate person, a very compassionate human being. Cut, I dropped the rose. Okay. You're a very compassionate human being, and I've known you for quite a while, and you're a very good friend, and you're very supportive of Moving On TV. And to me, a person like yourself, the expression is, I wear my heart on my sleeve.
I'm flattered.
But yeah, so someone who's not afraid to give a lot of compassion and to say how you feel, that's the metaphor. So what would you say that, am I right? Do you think I'm right? Would you say that you're able to express your feelings and be compassionate to others, which is a big gift?
Yes, I never had problems with actually expressing feelings or whatever they may be at the time. Especially when I had my heart operation last Christmas, that put me in a frame of mind thinking about preparing for death, you see. So, and I have to apply my probability theory about how likely I'm going to die and so on, you know. So, and so I haven't got enough years to actually make everything work, probably. So
do you feel that changed you then? The thought of that you could die because of what's happening with your heart. Do you feel that made you more?
I don't think
about
about dying
open?
as such, you know.
Yeah, running out of time.
I just think I have a journey that is likely to be this long, and I would like to accomplish certain things on this journey. So, and became very much in touch with my feelings.
Okay.
That was very good of that. In fact, it did me a lot of good having an emergency.
Well, this is what happens. A lot of human beings, we tend to have to wait for that moment before we can actually open our hearts and tell people how much we care about them, or do something nice. Sometimes we have to be at that level of crisis, and so that you feel that's what basically enhanced your life in some way.
Yes, I had a very clear path straight after the operation, and then as time wore on, things became more and more complicated. Now I'm sort of starting to things become so complicated that I'm starting to lose my way again. So I need to sort of go back to that moment in time and make myself feel again.
Yeah. Well, they say the heart is the center of love, don't they? And when you go through something like, what was it, open heart surgery you went through or something? What was it?
Oh yes, they had this very high tech thing.
So in a way, your heart opened.
Yeah, well,
metaphorically, symbolically.
Oh, but physically. The heart operation, they put me in suspended animation with by sort of cold storage.
Oh, okay.
That is how they do it nowadays.
Okay.
I think it's something to do with the fact that they discover that a skier being frozen in the mountains can bring them down, and and you can sort of they sort of survive in the suspended animation.
That's fascinating. And what obviously in another program I'm going to interview you about lots of different things, but today I'm really happy talking about hearts and talking about roses and Valentines and red, and
you can hear my heart.
I can hear.
If you turn down the volume.
Where is it? Over there. Sorry, that's the left. Yeah, sorry, the left side of the body, the heart. Yeah. I put it on your right side. Your heart's over there. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. In fact, yesterday I read a scientific article about this man who has got a mechanical heart working alongside with his own heart.
Oh, right. So he's got two hearts.
Yep.
So he should be even more loving, because it's the symbolism of hearts, as I say, is about love, unconditional love and giving. But we're talking about Valentine's Day.
Yes,
and I invited you.
My conception of Valentine is sort of...
what is your conception of Valentine's?
Rather different from most people, because firstly, I have never had a Valentine given to me.
Oh, did you hear that? You've got to all send lots of Valentine's cards to Edwina now. I've put lots of messages on Facebook.
Yeah.
Go on.
All right. And then, where's I? Oh, yes, this way. So, when it's Valentine's Day, I don't think about what should I be doing in a Valentine Day, and I have to get myself out to a disco and things like that. Oh no, I just thought I'll make use of this day, where everybody else is wasting their time dancing around a disco.
And what is it? What do you do then?
Here,
what's special to you?
Yes, tonight is quite good. I was sitting on this movie on television and doing an interview that I've never done before.
Something exciting and new. Right. So we talked about love, romantic love, and how I did ask you, because I was interested in knowing what
I don't find this commercial stuff that this is Valentine's Day, everybody has got a loving heart, you see. Oh no.
No, not enough. But
it's that love comes at an unpredictable time. You can't say on the 14th of February you're going to fall in love.
Yes. So basically what you're saying is what we talked about before was just get on with it any day. Just tell your friends you care about them and love them. Make it a more, it doesn't have to be just the 14th of February where you actually get the courage to say something. But you did say you fell in love. You did fall in love with someone when you were younger.
Yes, I would say I was infatuated with her for a little while.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
That was when I was 23 years old.
Oh, okay.
I just graduated from university and started a full-time job as a computer programmer, and we, three of us from the same department, decided to buy a house. Four of us in the department decided to buy a house, and we all played Go, you see. And then we had a party. And one of the girls from my housemate Roger's church came along. For some reason, she was very interested in me, and after the party, she decided to phone me up and go out for an outing, and we went to Spencer's Gallery in Cockham. Well, that was my first sort of taste of romance. Yeah.
And that was it. You never wanted to do it again. Is that it? You decided
that was very interesting.
Great.
Yeah,
but no, as we said, it's really good to hear and to listen to, stories like this. But again, when you think about Valentine's Day over the years, you weren't born here. You come from Hong Kong, don't you?
Yes, I was born in Hong Kong until 15 years of age. I was studying there.
And did you have anything like this in Hong Kong? The 14th of February?
Yes.
Really?
Indeed, yes. In fact, I actually spent a Valentine's Day up in the mountains on a building site.
Oh my God!
The Boy Scouts and the Girl Guides, you see.
Oh, I see.
That was only 1 month before my parents sent me over to England.
Okay, so you actually celebrate Valentine's Day in Hong Kong as the same way as the Western world, or does it have a different implication? Because we talked about Finland, where Valentine's Day is actually Friends Day, where you send a blessing or a love note to a friend. And in different countries, you know, have different ways of thinking about it. So in Hong Kong,
well, Hong Kong is a British colony, so
yeah,
they have the same meaning over there.
So it's still a romantic connotation of proposals and flowers and chocolates and roses.
Yeah, but it wasn't a big thing at the time. We weren't that romantic back in the days in 1970s.
That's really interesting to hear, because, say, here on Moving on TV, we want to hear all the different global and cultural differences, and we want to bring them here. So is there anything at all that you feel that you may be doing this year that you haven't done yet?
The courage required by me isn't a proposal. The courage is actually finding someone and think, I'm going to commit. And that is the scary bit. You can get it wrong, you see.
Well, it's taking a risk. But are you looking for a relationship?
I'm not confident yet.
Right. Okay. Well, who knows? Maybe we can find you someone.
Yeah.
What are you looking for then? What do you look for in a relationship?
I think very much someone who is a kind of teammate with me. I'm very creative and practical, you see, and I'm really looking for a kind of inventor partner, someone. Someone who can inspire me to think creatively, and being a taskmaster to keep me prodding on.
Well, that's very brave, because opposites do attract, and I think you do need that balance of people that are very different. The partners are very different in order to bring that balance up. Yeah. So you're asking for someone, because you're very scientifically minded, you're very grounded, so you're looking for someone to actually develop that creative side of your mind. Is that what you're saying?
It's more to well, I haven't decided for one thing.
Well, we wish you well, and who knows, hopefully, you know, once this goes out, we might find a mate for Edwina. Which would be really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Who knows what Moving on TV is going to make happen, or, you know, what we'll create. But it's been lovely speaking to you, and I wish you well, as it's really, really important. And I hope that everything's okay now, and that we have you for at least another 40, 50 years. If you want to be around for that long.
That would be very optimistic.
Lots of Valentines. Okay, it's lovely. Take care, Edwina. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hi, Queenie.
Hello, Lauren. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. Well, we're here on Moving On TV today, and it's a Valentine's special, a romance, love, unconditional love. And we're very, very lucky to have Queenie, Jacob's grandmother. Lovely lady.
Yes.
Is that your real name, Queenie?
I was christened Queenie, yes. Everybody asks me, is it a nickname? And it was my granny's nickname, but I was christened Queenie. Although it gets confusing because I was christened Elsie Queenie. So if I go into hospital and they call out Elsie Creswell, I take no notice for a minute, and I suddenly, oh, that's me, because they called me by my second name, which is Queenie.
Yeah, it's the name that you got used to. So today we're talking about Valentines, but in all sorts of different ways. I want to know what it means to lots of different people, because we're all unique and we're all different. And one of the things that we love doing is we love falling in love.
Oh, yeah.
We love falling in love. It just gives us something to live for.
Something special.
It gives us that oomph, you know. Between you and me, when I was single, if I went on holiday somewhere and there was a good-looking guy, it kind of gave me that courage to go down, want to go to dinner and, you know, and look at them all the time and you know,
good, yes.
and look good and look nice and get dressed up and everything. It's just the way we are. It's our nature. So, what was the first time you fell in love?
Well, I was 12 and I started going out with a boy who looked like John Travolta. Absolutely head over heels in love with him, and it was my fault I lost him because I played him about, went out with other guys,
when you
then
were
went
12,
back to
sorry.
him. Well, 12 to about 14.
Yes.
Yeah. And in the end, another girl latched onto him and managed to keep him.
Oh.
But it was my fault because I messed him about.
Did you? Did you? And did that hurt? Did it hurt?
Yes, because being my first love, it was a very strong love, and I could recognise him in a bus queue or anywhere from behind with his back to me. Very strong.
Strong memory.
I remember going to a youth club camp and messing him about again. And I was still at school, and I thought, oh, he broke his leg, and I thought, oh, great, you know, Peter's not coming. So I was flirting with his brother, and then he turned up, Peter, with a broken leg on his bike, and in the end there was a bit of a tussle between them, I'm afraid.
You're very naughty.
Oh yes.
So, but what was did Valentine's Day exist in those days?
Oh yes, yeah. And I can't remember the Valentines I got, apart from one which stands out, which came from my husband when we were courting. I used to wear a red roller neck jumper, and he sent me a Valentine's card, and when I opened it, this is a woman in a red jumper, and the booze popped out at you.
Oh, no.
I still got it, I think.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
So that was the first Valentine's card you got
First
from
special.
It was going to be your husband?
Yes, yeah.
Right, and how long was it before you got married then? After that,
When I the grandfather of Jacob, I married when I was 26, and we had 33 years together, I believe, and then he died of cancer. But it was good. We loved each other very much, but we were very different. Very different. He was quiet, very, very brainy. We'd call it brainy man, and I was just the opposite, noisy and practical.
But isn't that thing about opposites
Yeah,
attract, and
yeah.
we seem to need something we
That's
see
a
in
bit
that
different
person.
to us. Yes,
Yeah, it
yes,
really helps the
yeah.
relationship along a bit.
Yes. He was always supportive, not in a loud or aggressive way, but always supportive. I did 30 years with the Scouts. He wouldn't come in because he didn't want to work with children, but if we went camping or anything, he was always supported me.
Always there for you.
Yeah.
That's lovely. That's really, really important. So again, I mean, the 14th of February, again, is coming along. And I like to think of that being a world global day to really care
Show you
about
love.
people and to tell people how you feel about them. How do you feel about that?
Well, it is a special day, especially for young people, I think, because they can, even if it's in a letter, they've not got to speak to somebody, they can let them know by correspondence how they feel about them and that they're special. And it doesn't matter how young you are, it's easy to do. You haven't got to go out and say anything, whereas of course when you mature you should be more capable of saying I love you and showing it in a...
So, but going back to the days when you first met, what was your husband's name?
Martin.
Martin, that's a good name. A lovely name.
Yeah.
So when you met Martin, when you're going back to those days, of course you didn't have text, you didn't have Facebook.
No.
So how would you approach, when you want to approach someone that you really like, what would you do? Did you write letters?
Well, I'm afraid I'm a very awkward person and very independent. If I actually like somebody, I would do the opposite of getting them to like me, which sounds weird, but because I was so independent, I would not put myself forward.
Right.
If you see what I mean. Not that I couldn't, but I wouldn't. And he chased me. I dumped him a couple of times, but there was no gainsaying he was going to have me. And that's the sort of devotional love. So even if I tried to put him off, he wasn't having it.
Right.
And that won me.
So what years are we talking about? When did you meet?
I met him when I was 20. Well, we were in the youth club together, you see.
Yeah.
So I went out with him for about 3 years before we married. And
so we're talking around the war. Was it the Second World War?
No, I was born at the end of the Second World War. I was born in 42. So this had been a rock and roll time.
Right.
Because I was very good at rock and roll.
Oh,
I loved rock and roll.
You like
I had a
dancing,
huge red skirt which was a full circle, and when I danced it went right out, and one day it disappeared, and I said to my mother, "Where's my red skirt, Mum?" "I got rid of it," she said. "I'm fed up with seeing your knickers."
So what was your favourite present that Martin gave you for a special occasion like?
Oh yes,
Valentine's?
he was good. He didn't say anything, but always came up with the goods. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember presents, but always plenty of flowers and chocolates.
Right. So that tradition of flowers and chocolates, that's been around in the UK for quite a while, has it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, of course we're ladies, and we like flowers and chocolates, don't we? I know I do. I don't know any lady who would say she didn't like them.
So I think the only thing that probably we've inherited from America and stuff like that is probably the naughty underwear sort of bits and pieces. Because that wouldn't be very British, would it?
I think it is now, but I don't think it was in my day.
Not in those days. Basically, you're saying that it's been around for a while and the traditions keep going and they haven't really changed.
I know I've got two sisters, and when my eldest sister was in her teens, the chaps were still going away for the 2-year in the army on RAF or whatever, and she used to write to several, because again she was we belonged to a church, you see, with the youth club, and we all went through it. I've got 3 sisters and 2 sisters and 3 brothers, and she used to write to a lot of them till it all finished not long after that, and married again one of the youth club members.
So a lot of romance going on there.
Yes, lots of people in the youth club married, each other.
Yeah.
And we did have reunions up till about 10-15 years ago, I suppose. We'd all get together at some one or other houses. Yes, to belong to a youth club, it was special, really, special time.
So do you have any funny memories? Obviously you must have a lot of fun memories from with you and Martin together. What would be something that stands out that you...
I don't know particularly about fun memories, because he was not a funny person. Tender memories,
everybody's got that, especially if you've been together for a long time. Like, I've been married now 21 years.
I bet you could tell some memories. Yes.
And we did speak a little bit about how we got together on the stage and stuff like that, but I think that's what keeps you together, doesn't it? And you also, what else do you feel kept you together? Because we felt that you have to have things in common. You have to, in some way, we didn't have children, but
we didn't have a lot of things in common apart from our life principles. We felt the same about how to bring up the children. Now, I don't know where this came from. Now, my mother and father, very working class, no money, so that we weren't able to go to university. My older sisters are quite clever. One of them very clever, but they couldn't go on because there was no money. Yet my husband and I wanted our children to go to university. So you wonder where that comes from, because your mother and father weren't into that. So how did you have that sort of mind where you wanted, I suppose it's just wanting the best for your children.
Yeah.
So those sort of principles and the code of behaviour, they were the same. But we didn't have a lot of interest in common. When I first married him, he used to go down the shed till 2 and 3 in the morning. And I used to think, oh, what's wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? But that's the way he was.
Yeah.
He never stopped. He was always fiddling or working things out or making things. And I had to accept that. I had to accept, am I going to moan at him and nag him and change him into something I won't want?
You can't do that.
Or am I what I had to do, I got into scouting.
Right.
And my life was fulfilled in scouting and church.
Yeah.
So that left him to do what he wanted to do, because you can't change someone unless you do something wrong.
Exactly.
I don't feel.
You hit the nail on the head. You've got to get a life and do the best with your own life.
Yeah.
And
work together as
a
well.
relationship is supposed to
Yes.
complement that. You can't change anyone, but the more you change, they're more likely to change. But that's beautiful. So thank you so much for that, Queenie.
Thank you.
It's
very
going to
much.
be beautiful. We're going to
Nice to bring out the
interview you.
memories. My life laid bare. It'll be called.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.